Up until April 1st, I was in the best shape of my life. 140 kilometers per week, threshold felt easy, recovery was on point. Then I had some hip pain that felt like it came out of nowhere. And I did something I have never done before. I took 3 full weeks off running. You guys, 3 weeks. I chose not to even cross train. I didn't run, I did nothing except have fun. And in today's video, I'm showing you what happened to my stats, my fitness, and my mindset, and answering the question you're all wondering, how much damage does 3 weeks off actually do? If you're new here, my name is Karoline. I went from 0 running to winning my first marathon in 3 hours and 5 minutes. Then I ran a 2:46 marathon just 7 months later. But despite my story sounding like the ideal progression, here's where things backfired. At the time, I was working 2 jobs, living at home, and applying to get my MBA in California because I didn't just have high running goals. I had high business goals. And I knew nothing about managing running intensity and thought harder and faster equaled better. And that resulted in 6 stress fractures in 4 years. I was trying to do it all, chasing the Olympic marathon dream while building a business 5,000 miles away from friends and family back home in Norway. Injuries became my thing until I said enough. That's when I found heart rate training, running my time, and I started training smarter. I found the right coach, the right team, and I stopped chasing paces. And it worked. I went from braking at 60 kilometers per week to running up to 140 kilometers per week injury-free. I felt unstoppable until April 1st of 2025. I had been dealing with some mild plantar fasciitis, nothing major, but then what felt like all of a sudden I had this weird hip pain. And I was just extra tired, not in the usual training fatigue way. Something felt off. At first, I took a couple of days off, but it actually got worse with rest. And that's when I knew that this wasn't just something to push through. But here's the surprising part. I wasn't panicking. For the first time ever, I saw it as a sign to pause, to reflect, and to reset. So I told my coach, no running, and he said, no cross training either. And honestly, that was so scary. I had worked so hard to build this fitness. What would happen to it? Would I have to start from scratch? Would I lose everything? It had been so long since I'd taken a true break. Through every one of my 6 stress fractures, I trained hard on the bike and the elliptical because I was terrified of losing my fitness. But this time, I did the opposite, and 2 months later, I can tell you exactly what happened. Here's the thing, running is so incredibly mental. Getting injured and not being able to do the thing you love, the thing you need to be doing to reach your goals, it's absolutely horrible. And to be completely real, I usually go into panic mode. It feels like I'm right back at square one, like I'm doing something wrong, even though I'm trying so hard to do everything right. And now that I'm sharing my journey publicly, I sometimes feel like a hypocrite. I'm just being completely honest. A coach helping others avoid injuries, and yet here I am. But this time, even with those thoughts, I had a deep sense of this is BS. These thoughts are lying to me because the reality is I haven't had a stress fracture in over 2 years, and I don't believe I ever will again. I have more than doubled my mileage and I feel better than ever. I've coached my athletes from barely being able to do a 5K run to finishing marathons. Setbacks are part of the journey, and if I think I'll never face one again, I'm wrong. Getting injured and testing limits is part of learning. Mistakes have probably done more for my running career than anything else, as long as I stay resilient and keep improving. What really helped me this time was thinking long term, seeing my journey as experimentation and learning. I thought, let's see what happens to my fitness, how fast it comes back, and let's share it with my community in case it helps someone else in a similar situation. I also asked myself, what fun things can I do that I normally wouldn't? And that's when skydiving got scheduled. And you guys, I am afraid of heights. I still can't believe I did it. But wow, it was such a powerful experience. It taught me that sometimes the best thing we can do is just to let go. It's so easy to get absorbed in chasing goals that we forget to appreciate the little things. This hip injury reminded me that sometimes you need to step back, to have a life beyond running. And I use this time to focus on my work, support my athletes, and stay satisfied. My business dedicated to helping people live lives they truly love. We're on a mission to inspire balance, fulfillment, and sustainable progress through tools, programs, and community, because satisfaction isn't just a feeling, it's a lifestyle, and we're here to help you stay there. We also just launched a Facebook community, so if you want to join, I will leave the link in the description. We do weekly check-ins and celebrate both the small and big wins while supporting each other on our journeys. What I changed. Whenever I have a setback, I reflect on what happened and where my process might have gone off track. This time, I took a hard look at my strength training. I realized I had been pushing through sessions even when I was clearly fatigued. My body was already broken down and I was adding more stress. So I had an honest conversation with my coach and we pulled back my strength work, made it more running specific and targeted. I'm now using my energy where it actually matters. I've also gotten way better at resting day to day, especially when I feel that underlying fatigue. I do have a lot of work going on, but I'm lucky that everything is super flexible. So the harder part for me is mentally resting because I have this constant need to feel productive. So resting on the couch used to make me feel lazy, but not anymore. I also started going to a sports massage twice per week, so Tuesdays and Fridays. My new sports massage therapist, his name is Darren, and he's really good, so I will leave a link in the description in case you're in San Diego and want to find a good sports massage therapist. I've also been walking more barefoot to strengthen my feet, and I've even added short barefoot runs in the sand, gradually building up. This is actually also thanks to Darren, my sports massage therapist. Nutrition-wise, I have balanced my plate with carbs, protein, and fats, and included a lot of micronutrients, but since moving to the US, I've definitely eaten a lot more processed foods. I'd say processed foods that are labeled as healthy. So I'm now working on improving food quality and meal timing as well. Let me know if you'd like a full video on any of these changes. I'd be happy to dive deeper. So if you're wondering what actually happens to your body when you take 3 full weeks off, here's the honest breakdown. The data might surprise you. Week 1 of the injury, I felt extra tired when I rested. I've had this feeling going into my taper before, and although it's normal to feel more tired during the taper, I now know that this is a sign I've overdone it. This is why I didn't just jump into cross training. What my body really needed was rest. My resting heart rate went up to around 42 to 46, and it's usually between 36 and 40. So again, all signs that rest was needed. My HRV also went down, which I don't care as much about as my resting heart rate, but it still signaled that I needed to stop, or at least pull back. Week 2 to 3 of injury, I gained energy. I tried running for 5 minutes and it just didn't feel right. Hence, the shortest run ever. It wasn't that painful or obviously wrong, but I've learned to not force it. 3 weeks post-injury, where in week 1 of pain-free running, I started with 20 minutes at a very low heart rate. And honestly, I was just super happy I could run at all. And seeing my resting heart rate drop despite doing nothing but rest was a reminder that rest works. I only did low heart rate runs, no threshold, no speed. In week 2, I did mostly easy runs with 2 short threshold sessions. So 15 to 30 minutes at threshold. And for someone who is used to running 120 to 140 kilometers per week, this was very little. Week 3 post-injury. Today I actually have 10,000 meters at 170 heart rate, so low threshold for me. And pace is definitely improving. Right now I'm at 540 per K at 130 heart rate. So it's really cool to see how quickly my pace increases. when I'm patient and stick to the heart rate targets. And yeah, I'm on my period, so I'm feeling definitely a little bit more tired, but I've been really focusing on eating more healthy fats and electrolytes during my period, and I definitely can tell that it's helping. I'm at interval 4, and I'm actually feeling a lot better than I thought. And I want to show you guys how I can talk and how it's actually really controlled despite being threshold. I'm running at about 420 min per kilometer, but really, like I always say, the pace is not what matters. It's a relative effort. Last week I was running at 430, and now I'm at 165 heart rate, and my max is 197. So I'm just working on holding back the first half of my threshold session. And I do this with any interval session. In week 3 to 4, this is when I started returning to my usual weekly structure. Intensity and volume weren't the same, but I got up to over 60 kilometers with 2 rest days. And this is also when I did that 10K speed session that I will link over here. So check it out. I honestly surprised myself so much. My 10K speed was faster than a month before the injury, which I just took 3 weeks off. So that's crazy to me. I'm in week 4 post hip injury. And right now my pace is like 5:10 per K at 140 heart rate. It varies based on the wind and where I'm running, but yeah, now I went up to 145 because I'm talking. Anyways, today I'm going to be running at like 150 to 155, but I go off field, so that's like a max. But it's just so fun that my pace is improving so fast, and it's truly because I've learned to listen, and of course that I go off heart rate in time. And then on Monday I had a rest day, and then on Tuesday I actually did cross training, so I walked on the treadmill, which is probably why I'm feeling extra good today. Week 5, I hit 75 kilometers and I felt stronger than ever. Week 6, I had a deload week. If you're not periodizing your training, you guys, you are missing out. Check out some of my other videos because I talk a lot about periodization on my channel. Same run, just about 40 minutes later, and now my pace is significantly slower. It's 458 per K. And that is mostly because of cardio. Mostly because of cardiac drift, but also because it's hella warm today. So then naturally, I'm gonna slow down. And I still slow down because, again, I train on that heart rate target. So if the heart rate goes higher, I need to slow down to hit that target max. I'm running in zone 2, and my pace is 435 per kilometer, which is just crazy. I do know why I'm progressing so fast. It's because I'm being smart about my training and I'm holding back. But wow, this is just the best feeling in the whole world. How am I running 440 to 445 sometimes at 155 heart rate? This is just crazy. Today my resting heart rate was 36. So I knew that I was all recovered and I would be feeling good. Week 7 to 8, that's when I had more normal structure, still 1 rest day per week. Threshold sessions are still lower in volume, and I haven't added back double thresholds yet. I'm focusing on rebuilding a strong foundation. So how long does it take to rebuild your fitness after 3 weeks off? Not as long as you think. Taking time off didn't ruin my fitness. It made me respect it more. Fitness isn't about what you can do. It's about what you can sustain. And for the first time in my journey, I'm not chasing that speed anymore. I'm chasing consistency. That's how I'll reach my Olympic goal. And honestly, I believe my fitness now, 8 weeks post-injury, is even better than I think it was right before the injury. If you want to train like I do with heart rate and time, not paces and distances, then check out my training plans, link below. Here's the thing, one of the biggest mistakes I made, and one I see all the time as a coach, is pushing the process too fast. You have big goals, maybe even a bold one, like running a marathon or hitting a PR, but your plan doesn't match where you're actually at. So before you pick a plan, ask yourself, how many days per week have you been running consistently over the past few months? If you've been running 3 days per week unstructured and your heart rate is pretty high, then start with a 5K level 2 or 10K level 2 plan. If you've had longer runs up to 2 hours, then the half marathon level 2 might be the perfect next step. I know that there are free training plans out there, and that's amazing. But if you're just looking for the cheapest option, mine probably aren't it. My plans are built for the runner who's done it on their own, who's tried training harder and still isn't seeing results, who's ready to stop guessing and start building real, lasting progress. Because my method isn't for everyone. It's for the patient runner, the one willing to go slower now for that breakthrough later. And if that's you, let's train smarter together. If you're in a season of rebuilding, whether it's from an injury, time off, or just a plateau, I hope this gave you some encouragement. If you want to train smarter with heart rate and time instead of rigid paces and distances, I'd love for you to check out my training plans. They're built to meet you where you're at, not where you wish you were. If you're unsure where to start, scroll down to define your running plan. I've added a breakdown so you can choose a plan that matches your current running consistency. Feel free to message me on Instagram if you have any questions. And also, if you want to connect more deeply, we just launched Stay Satisfied's Facebook community where we share weekly check-ins and celebrate small or big wins together. The link is below. If this video helped you in any way, it would mean a lot if you guys could give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, or share it with a friend who might need it. You're not alone. Keep going and stay satisfied.